Good now, revolutionaries, and welcome to the Rise Up Morning Show.
The Rise Up Morning Show.
Today is Wednesday, October 15th, and we are back with another 101. I'm talking about Web3 101, of course. So the good news is that if you are looking for help, if you've got questions, if you just don't even know what to do in this crypto space, then we are here for you. GM and Goodnow. Alex, how are you doing today?
Can't complain. Tired. Didn't sleep enough, but you know what else is new? But it was gorgeous out yesterday. It's gorgeous out today. So it's hard to be upset.
Yeah, I've got a long sleeve shirt on today for the first time and
I know,
feel
it's crazy.
comfortable.
It's like below 70 outside right now, and it's feels cold.
Oh my gosh. Wherever you are, wherever you listen, we hope that you're appropriately cozy, not too hot, not too cold. And if you've got a question, then leave it in the comments. Or if you want to go where everybody knows your name, they're always glad you came, and the comments never die, I am, of course, talking about community.rumshq.com. That's your best bet, especially if you want to connect with me, with Alex, with Bearded, with Tori, with Keith, all the cool people in our community. What are you doing? The only thing missing is you. Tori says it's 50 there. That sounds appropriately chilly. That's like back to school in my mind.
Oh, here
we're past that, but
yeah, here we're past that.
In the land of my youth.
Although, of course, it's kids always have to bring so much stuff to school because, you know, in the beginning of the school year, it's hot as hell. And of course, they get in the classroom and the AC is cranked down to 62 and blustery. So everyone's freezing their ass off, but then you go outside and it's 110.
Ooh. I hate it when that happens, when it's so hot outside, but then everybody's got like too much cold inside.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Just can't get comfortable, man.
Nope.
Frost today. Canada is cold. LOL. London says gray and cold. Oh my gosh. Exit Villa says below freezing in New York the other night. Why am I here?
Tell me why.
I don't even know. If you're in London, Keith, anybody else listening, Jower is a little hour or so down the road, I do believe. They are having a Coinbase, not a conference, but like a conference. I forget what it's called. I was reading about it in Crypto Daybook today on CoinDesk's website. It sounded like an interesting meeting of people. Also on the conference docket today, in places that are cold, our friends at Aptos are unveiling day one of Aptos Experience. They're gathering a bunch of builders around Brooklyn to show what they've been cooking. So Greg, Anuya, Avery, all our friends over there, Angel, we hope your candles are green today. Also happening today, Christina's birthday. Oh my gosh. Happy birthday to Christina. I'm going to make a big party out of it tonight, too. I'm going to give Christina at least 10 points to start Rise Up After Dark. Got to give your dad also a birthday shout out and a couple of points. I don't know what it is, but studies show people who have the most birthdays, Alex, they live the longest. Did you know that?
I'd have to see more data about that. That sounds unlikely.
Okay, speaking of data, today Binance released the news that they are discontinuing support for their BNB browser wallet. Not that that'll affect many of our friends in the US. What?
I was just going to say, didn't even know there was one.
I didn't even know there was one either, but it sounds like they're asking users to back up their keys and prepare for the device, the interface to be discontinued. So if you are a BNB wallet browser wallet user, say that 5 times fast, then back up your seed, get it off there. And also, 2 interesting listings that I thought would be helpful, especially for our friends on TikTok. Alex, today Kraken is listing ZBCN, aka ZBEC token, and Rally token. Have you seen Rally around TikTok, or not Rally, Recall.
Oh,
Rally's
No.
our friends, but Recall. I had seen it once or twice in a comment, and so here we are.
I don't
They're
think
getting
so.
listed today. Watch out. Sometimes a token gets dropped on an exchange and it craters. So since yesterday, I feel like there has been no new news. The government remains shut down, Alex.
Of
And those
course.
are the headlines I could find. I do want to say for folks who are 101ers, I listened back to our episode with Erica. What an exceptional guest. I
Oh,
am
she killed
so
it.
glad that she made time to join. It makes me so happy to see what I would call legitimate adults, people with professional jobs. A lot of our friends in the comments are like this, who are just everyday people who use crypto. And that legitimizes it so much when they stand up and say, like, oh no, this is a big deal. I love it. So if you missed it, you can catch it at YouTube. You can catch it at your favorite podcasting platform. It's got a great tutorial of DeFi Llama. A lot of people are always asking us for more repetitions there. And it's also got an overview of a really important Bitcoin debate. You know who I was thinking we need to connect Erica with, and who we also need to have on our show? If you're listening, Jillian, I could see a little Rums legal crossover happening.
Yeah. No, I think so.
Jillian,
I
Erica.
enjoy
Oh.
talking to attorneys about all this kind of stuff too, because, you know, we've talked about this before. As you talk about the purported utilities of various cryptos, it's nice to be reminded by people with legal experience, like what is not just simply not going to happen, or, you know, what needs some work, what requires some clarity, how something actually works. I've always found that lawyers are particularly insightful when helping suss out nonsense with stuff like this.
I like what Bearded had to say about it. Rums HQ. The second thing missing is legal crossover. That could be a really cool show. I feel like Erica and Jillian, I'm just going to riff on this. They could explore some interesting RWA stuff.
Oh yeah.
I think they would explore really good one-on-one content, but also like niche technical content that our friends love. I just think my brain is brewing on it. Plus, you know, we need more women on the air.
This is the point that I keep trying to make to people, especially like tax software that I'm trying to seduce as a sponsor. That it's genuinely interesting. Like, it may seem on its face like it's a dry, boring topic, but it's like kind of the most important thing. And if you screw it up, like, you get in trouble or you like lose a lot of money. And I don't know. I feel like I'm always blowing people's minds, and I'm like, yeah, no, believe it or not, this is interesting, and it's important, and no one really makes content about it.
It's just stupid.
So, Evan, I was thinking we could take this this question from Gypsy and Dog over here on TikTok about biometrics, because I do have some thoughts. But then also I do have a story that was run. I saw I don't know how recent it is, but I saw the video about it yesterday, so it could have been a little bit older. But CNN, shout out, ran a story that was really misrepresented, and I thought that it would be a good opportunity to talk about why it was misrepresented and how stories like this really don't help anybody. And now here we are, cleanup crew, helping fix some missing. But it was about Bitcoin ATMs and scams using ATMs. And it's just another good reminder of how echo chambered we are, because this particular video, which was posted on CNN's like main corporate blue checkmark TikTok account, had so many comments, and every single one of them was along the lines of, I can't believe crypto is legal. How is this legal? This is like all a scam. Like, and to be fair, the way the story was presented was not that people were using Bitcoin ATMs to effect a scam, but that Bitcoin ATMs were a scam.
Oh, Gwump.
Yeah. So anyway, we can talk about that in a second, because I see Fizzer says they saw that story. Yeah, it was It was brutal. I've seen one or two. We've talked about this before. I've seen one or two like stories that pop up every now and then on like a major, I'll put news in air quotes, network. Because let's be real, that just so aggressively misrepresent something in the industry because they know that it gets attention. I mean, and none of these programs are not seeking to inform; they're seeking to entertain and piss you off so that you engage. Same is true no matter which direction slant the network chooses to take. But with stuff like this, it genuinely like causes problems because this ad was targeted at older people, because that's the victim that they were like holding up on screen, was just the classic old person who doesn't know any better. And here you go, stupid. Like, be careful with this. It's gonna take all your money. This is nonsense. Look at this. It charges a service fee like everything else on earth. Go figure.
Now, I will say that listening to, there is some valid criticism. A think piece,
100%.
piece like that is, terrible. But
the scam is real. There's a real scam happening that like deserves to be educated about. But the scam is not Bitcoin. The scam is the asshole that tricks you on the phone into putting in the wrong address. Yeah.
I do wonder though. I used to think Bitcoin ATMs were a helpful privacy solution. But now I more or less think, since almost all of them still require some kind of KYC.
Yeah.
And they are so commonly used, especially in pig butchering scams, to get money from a vulnerable older person to a scammer, that I would honestly be okay if they went away and we doubled down on better on-ramps that required a little more crypto literacy and weren't so easy to like take advantage of if you're a scammer. Because I don't know, they're you put on your hoodie, you go to the gas station, and you go to the Bitcoin ATM. I don't know.
No, I mean, listen, don't let this come across as me saying that Bitcoin ATMs are the future and that everyone should go spend.
You don't think we should open a side hustle, Alex?
No. But representing stories like this the way that they did is just like exclusively unhelpful. They didn't even explain what the actual scam was. They just like kind of shit talked crypto for a while, which I get. Like, it's become very political. It is being used as a weapon, as a political talking point to score brownie points with one particular demographic or another. But like, if you're gonna do a video about the scam, you got to at least talk about the scam. But let's answer this this biometrics question really quick.
Yeah, read our podcasters in.
So the question is about someone who has opted to use biometrics for unlocking for their hardware wallet versus the more traditional non-biometric. And here's actually, this is really topical. I was just reading something about this yesterday, and I've seen a few TikTok videos about people kind of explaining things in the lead up to the next round of No Kings protests. Just people talking about what the government is currently doing and what they're allowed to do as per a recent court ruling. The name of the case is escaping me. I'll look it up. Anyway, against biometrics. So personally, I'm becoming less and less and less of a fan of biometrics as time goes on. More of a fan of like hard pass keys or like written out. It's a little annoying. It's less convenient than Face ID or a thumbprint or whatever. But effectively, the way that this works at this point is that if you, let's hypothetical here, one of your electronic devices is seized from you, legitimately or illegitimately, and law enforcement is trying to get into it. It does not count as illegally compelling you to force you to unlock a device using biometrics. If they just have to get your thumbprint or your face to unlock something, that they are allowed to do that without a warrant. And then anything on the device is fair game. If it's a hard, like a PIN or a password or something that you would have to, as the court case discussed, use any sort of cognitive effort to recall or enter, that's when a warrant is required. Personally, I think the ruling is bullshit and a massive overreach, but hey, that's the world we live in now. Massive overreach and ridiculously frequently increasing infringements on our basic freedoms, but welcome to America. So honestly, I would say no. I would say don't use biometrics, to be very honest, especially with my hardware wallet. It's not something I need to get into every 10 seconds, wherein typing in a pin like on my phone is more annoying. But I would personally not use biometrics with cold storage. The whole point of cold storage is to remove those assets from the place where someone else can access them as much as possible. Put as many layers of security between someone acquiring your assets illegitimately and yours and you accessing them as humanly possible. So my 2 cents.
So I am totally with you. I actually am also kind of concerned about biometrics. I am not sure that we have adequately prepared to adopt biometrics as a standard. It's super convenient. It is, in some senses, secure, but in others, not at all, especially if our rights aren't protected. I could see that going to the Supreme Court. And what worries me about crypto is I don't think seed phrases are the right solution for every user. We had a really good discussion, was it last week, about maybe 2 weeks ago, maybe it was wrapped up in our user experience question about this is, it's okay that this is a little technical and new to you and might be at first an obstacle, because you can learn how to do this. If you want to take this responsibility, you need to understand it and take it seriously. I wish I could recall exactly what Adam Lowe said. We're going to have Dr. Adam Lowe remind us what Arculus's little philosophy is. I believe it's something you know, something you show, something. It was a little cute epithet. You remember that? To unlock their wallet, like something you know, something you show, something you are, something you have, something you know, something like that. I like multi-factor. I don't think anybody has nailed it yet. Like Arculus, for example, has a seed phrase, which I like. It requires an NFC connection, which is fine and becoming easier, but could be cumbersome, sometimes is. And then it requires a PIN. And that's, I think, pretty effective. I will say, I do think that some users like our friend, that Tangem or a seedless wallet might be the right solution for them, but I just want to see multi-factor. Like maybe the key is sharded. Maybe it's a multi-sig wallet.
Yeah.
Something. I'm not sure, because
my whole point is that if you don't really care, which is fair. Maybe you're really not concerned about this. You should at least be informed about it. And it's just to me, it's alarming that a feature that is being basically pushed on every single person who uses a digital device for effectively anything at this point is now given the option for biometrics. And it's so convenient that why wouldn't you do it? And now the courts have carved out an exception. To me, that's a straight up constitutional violation of your Fourth Amendment rights. But what the hell do I know? I find it alarming that there's a really, really significant carve out for law enforcement to just take your stuff without your permission.
Yeah.
Regardless of any cause, it doesn't matter. It could be a completely bogus arrest or apprehension or detention based on absolutely nothing. And if you use Face ID on your phone or your thumbprint or whatever, all they have to do is just cuff you, hold the phone up to your face, boom, they're in. No warrant needed. Everything on there is fair game.
Neil said, replace seed phrases with DNA. And I can't tell if he's joking or serious.
Yeah, I would assume that's a joke.
Give me your DNA, Alex. We have a good follow-up question. Which is the best wallet? I always like to answer this. The best wallet is going to be any wallet from, I would say, a legitimate company. Could be SafePal, Vault12, Ledger, Trezor, Arculus, Tangem, whatever, that supports the networks and tokens you want to use and that you find easiest to use consistently well. And that answer is going to be different from person to person. So, Alex, if you weren't sure where to start, you got those names because you watched the Rise Up Morning Show and you're just looking for more info. Where would you go?
From here, Coinbase.com/learn has some good stuff, but I mean, honestly, I would just start looking up the specific ones in general. I would have a conversation with one of these, AIs, one of the LLMs, and just, feed it some things. Here's the basics of what I'm trying to do. Here's what I'm interested in custodying. Here's what I'm interested in using. I'm trying to come up with a list of options that would make sense for me to explore. Boom, done. Get the list. Try it out.
Watch them on YouTube. The YouTube tutorials with the great cameras overhead, ledger wallet setup. Once you verified that a particular token or a particular wallet supports the networks and tokens you want to use, a video like that will show you if you think it will be easy to use well. And that's, again, why you get in the community, because one, you'll have people to ask there who probably use a variety of wallets. It's just important to get started. And if you jump in the community, like Jeff Rascal says, when we get a purple Rums branded Arculus wallet, I know you're going to be the first in line to hear about it. I cannot wait for that. Shout out to our friends over at Arculus. We may or may not be cooking something cool with Arculus. We are cooking something cool with Arculus.
Yeah, we are.
You get to find out about it later. Great question. Thank you for asking. I have another good question from our friend Mama B Thang. Mama B Thang, thanks for asking about Fetch. Alex, you remember FET, Fetch?
Vaguely.
Artificial superintelligence. They merged with Singularity and Ocean Protocol to become this new crypto AI token. They were the leading crypto AI companies who said, what would really help is if we got together and then we could compete with these centralized juggernauts. And they gave it their very best effort.
And they all combined and immediately plummeted into obscurity.
No. Alex is right. Unfortunately, the Fetch token is big time down. And I have bad news to report that Ocean Protocol has announced recently they are leaving the alliance. So what's the downgrade from like between artificial intelligence and artificial superintelligence? Is it just like artificial
mediocrity?
So I'm sorry to say, Mama B thing, I don't personally expect big things from that particular alliance. And this is something that I think we could have seen coming, because I don't know that they had a competitive product. I think they had 3 tokens in one. It's very tough to merge communities. You remember talking about this last year, like what we were looking for when this happened, to see if it would be successful?
You talk about the idea of a rebrand in crypto, and it's kind of this like interesting phenomenon wherein it's either the worst thing ever or it just doesn't matter. But I've not really ever seen it really push. Actually, you know what? The first time I've ever seen a rebrand was like, God damn, that's so much better. Killer move. And then they really like ripped off of it and built successfully as Remix.
Oh yeah.
Which it pains me to say, because the Farcade was like such a cool vibe. Everything about that was amazing. But given the product and everything, like Remix was so killer. Perfect rebrand. But we've seen other rebrand, and some of them are small, like when Polkadot made a new logo, and everybody voted on it, and we're like, why are we doing this? And okay, here we go. And then Stellar really didn't change anything except kind of like the brand package, the asset package, just kind of clean up, refresh the look, whatever. I like that kind of thing. It doesn't really affect anybody. Either you like it or you don't. This was a weird one, the whole Fetch thing, whatever, just because it was so convoluted and no real explanation was given. So it was just very hard to follow. I'm sure you remember when that was happening, it was every other question. What does this mean for this token? What does this mean for that token? What I hold this one? What do I have to do? Am I going to lose this? And it was just, there was no communication that I saw that was effective from any of the groups really to offer any clarity to that whole thing. And so I think it was a massive fumble.
I'm sad about it, because a lot of people spent a lot of time looking at the protocols, thinking it would be something. And
they weren't bad. Inherently, they were not bad projects.
No, they weren't scams or anything.
No, you take something that is complicated by nature, make it more complicated, put it all in a pot together and jumble it up with even more complication, and then just kind of like huck it back out into the world with no explanation. It's just a terrible idea. I don't know whose idea that was. That's an idea that makes me think, not to slight them, but a bunch of engineers put this together and never consulted with anybody in PR or messaging or communications about it. Just kind of, maybe it makes sense at the protocol level. Send it. No explanation needed. They'll figure it out. No, they won't. I don't even get it. Dude, I gave up. I was like, I don't have time for this. So, I mean, whether to cut your losses or not, it's one of those things that, still has some attention. A lot of people still do hold it. Randomly, it could pump. It's one of those things that I think would get a pump by proximity if everything exploded. But like in and of itself, there's nothing about it that I'm like looking forward to catalyze anything specific, although I will say, shout out, I'm not going to go too far into depth. Will can cover this more later, but our buddy JPow, old Jerome hinted at the ending of QT, quantitative tightening.
Yeah, I did see that.
Yeah, and so if you have the observation from Josh Rhodes yesterday was that he doesn't believe this is priced in. Shout out Josh.
That's kind of what I think too.
What's the TikTok? Crypto y'all.
Investing y'all.
That's it.
Josh, I think it might be. Damn it! Somebody got to check me. I should know this because he's our friend. But fact check yourself, brother. Sorry.
Anyway, Josh, solid observation. He tossed it into the group text, and I would say that he's correct. I haven't really seen anyone. There's not really been specific anticipation of that. You hear it, tossed around a little bit. Will can go into more detail about exactly what that means, but suffice it to say that if anything was going to potentially catalyze some sort of altcoin rally, it could be the Fed signaling an end to quantitative tightening, a transition to quantitative easing. Pair that with the excitement around all of the ETF stuff if the government ever decides to go back to work and do their goddamn job. And then rate cuts, the anticipated more rate cuts this year. Put all those things together, even though those other two things are priced in. That could cause something. So in a situation like that, maybe Fetch does something, but like in a vacuum, I don't think it matters anymore, unfortunately.
Yeah, and for people who are asking, what the hell is quantitative tightening? This is a type of monetary policy, meaning it's something the Fed sets where a central bank reduces their money supply basically by shrinking its balance sheet, either by selling government bonds from its holdings or just allowing them to mature, to come to fruition, expire without reinvesting the proceeds. It sounds boring and like that's it, but that's what they do. And by contrast, easing would be the opposite. Reinvesting, doubling down, expanding their balance sheet. Mama B thing, returning to the question of ASI and Ocean and Fetch, says, can we get a gwump for ASI? And happy to oblige. Yep. Sorry guys.
Sorry about it. Really quick. The dogs had some. The dogs also gwumped ASI.
My dogs are barking. Okay, really quick. What you got?
So this CNN story that's got me all hot and bothered.
The Bitcoin ATMs?
Yeah. I know we've talked about ATMs before, like as a concept, right? Love them or hate them, whatever, they're a thing. They are not inherently a scam. They may not be the greatest on-ramp of all time. They may have other downsides, all this kind of stuff, but they themselves are not scams. However, a scam, a common scam that uses them is effectively, instilling the fear into someone that they need crypto. Fine. I do think that more people need Bitcoin, but I do not believe in using fear to sell that idea to people.
Correct.
Reality is scary enough. All you got to do is...
I'm just imagining a Halloween campaign for like, woo, get some Bitcoin.
It is spooky season.
He's ghost. Sorry.
And so effectively what the scam is telemarketing, some kind of scam caller will call somebody, terrify them, get them to a Bitcoin ATM and just get them to feed cash into it, turning it into Bitcoin. And instead of allowing them to use it properly, they will give them an address to have the Bitcoin go to and then withdraw from ATM to someone else's address. And you just got to keep going. And then, like Evan mentioned, there's a particular flavor of scam called pig butchering, which is basically the idea of any instance where someone is continuing to pressure you to give more and more and more and more money, leading to a payoff, and they're usually showing you some sort of interface or website or email or pictures or something of your balance on this platform, and it's growing and it's doing really well, and oh god, we've made such a good investment, your returns are crazy, we should put in more, and then you put in more because it's easy to get seduced by that whole thing, and then you try to withdraw some and they're like, oh, okay, well, we need to pay the processing fee, otherwise you're going to get penalized, and so you got to put in more. And then basically they'll just run that until you either get wise or you run out of money, and then they'll cut losses, move on, and go. But the second you send anything to these people, it's gone forever. You're never going to see it again. You can report it, but as the story accurately pointed out, hundreds of millions of dollars, billions of dollars are stolen from people through frauds and scams every single year.
Yeah.
Follow-up question, can the person's wallet be found by the FBI? Absolutely. But there's not really a whole lot that they can do, and honestly, there's not really any indicated interest from current FBI in, I don't know, pursuing real crime. So
You should report it to the FBI.
You should report it, yes.
But one of the reasons it's difficult is like wallets. We talk about this all the time. I'm thinking about Erica calling us up to be expert witnesses and saying, Your Honor, it is easy to track. I've got it right here on the Blockchain Explorer. The problem is the people who are scamming you through a pig butchering scheme are usually involved in other kinds of crime.
You're total grifters.
And they're stealing people's identities. They are laundering money. They are doing stuff that makes it difficult to ascertain once you find the transaction, who in the real world in quotes, it's linked to. Tough. Very tough.
Yep.
One of the other people I want to have on the show is Erin West. She hosts a great podcast called Stolen. Money Talks, I think, is the TikToker who shared her with me, and it was just chef's kiss resource. It's all about pig butchering, different perspectives on it. I told a story a couple episodes ago about a scam compound in, I think, Thailand. They're all over the world, these places, where a man was trafficked into a job, if you could call it that, because it was really slavery. Scamming people, just sitting 20 hours a day or more on a phone, reaching out to people like you to try and take their money at the point of duress. It was heartbreaking. So educate yourself on pig butchering scams. And shout out to Erica again. She's just racking up the points. She's not even here. She's racking up points. She has a really good video about going to a Bitcoin ATM and trying to buy Bitcoin from it, and how actually like difficult it kind of is. It's not a convenient experience. So like if you are at a gas station or a Costco and you see an elderly person on the phone with someone, or it doesn't have to be an elderly person. If you see somebody on the phone at the Bitcoin ATM for a long time,
yeah,
you could walk up to them and let them know they're probably going to be in denial because they're talking to their boyfriend who, you know, is in the internet or something and just needs some money, whatever. But I would say most people using that, I'm concerned about.
Yeah, I mean, nothing says you have to be aggressive about it, but like there are signs to look for that could let you know that someone is like in the middle of something like that, and that's a good one.
When I was an EMT, I used to say, "My name's Evan. I'm here to help," and that would be a great way to like walk up to somebody. You could say like, "Hey, do you need help? I'm a crypto user." You know what I mean? Like that would be a easy smile on your face, wipe the mustard off your face if you're at Costco and you eat the hot dog, and then approach them, let them know. Alex, what are you seeing in the comments? I see your eyes doing the occasional.
Marcia, I love you. You got to chill. I don't need to see the comment every 3 seconds.
Oh
Especially
yeah,
back
hey,
to back. We're good.
If you've got
got you.
a comment, it's okay to occasionally repost it because we do miss things, but please don't copy and paste it again and again. It just makes you look foolish. It makes you look like somebody who went out in public and hit like an air horn. You know what I mean? Like that's how it feels to me. But thank you for the question, because we do love good questions, and this is Web3 101 Wednesday. What is Parsa's question? Is there a question in there?
There was a few. Yeah, I'll have to go back and check again.
While you do that, let me answer this question from Rob. Hey, Rob, good to see you. Who says, Regarding onboarding, did it with Aave, did it with Maple, no issues. I can't seem to get on board with Carrot with a Phantom wallet loaded with USDC. I can't figure out how to sign the Phantom wallet. That's a great question. I'm not entirely sure what the issue you're encountering is, but I'm going to go over a couple of issues that I can imagine you might experience. What I'd like from you, Rob, is let me know in another comment what applies to you specifically. Are you accessing DeFi Carrot through a computer or phone with your wallet also on it? Are you using a browser like Chrome and then navigating away to a wallet like Coinbase Wallet or MetaMask? What's your setup? Let us know. What I like about Carrot, and I've already got a wallet connected here, one of my social wallets, is it automatically detects which wallets you might have installed in the device you're accessing this site from. Sometimes you hear us say you should never have your crypto on a device that you use for other stuff on the internet that you go around with. Alex and I do have some social wallets that I would prefer they don't try to drain, but it's okay to have some walking around money on a social computer. This is why wallet hygiene is important, though. You don't want to plug in your cold storage wallet, your most precious stuff at a Starbucks or on a device that you're going to take everywhere else. So with that caveat out of the way, we're practicing good hygiene here. This is what my wallet connection looks like, but I am going to disconnect it just so you can see that. See, it detects automatically different wallets that I have installed: Phantom, Trust, MetaMask. In our interview with James, he noted this because I commented on his display. I said, wow, you have different wallets than I do. Oh, it's not going to make me sign. I said all this to say, what is easiest for you, Rob, is going to be if you are using this site from a browser inside a crypto wallet. For example, you might create a new Phantom wallet just to try this website. And you might access the website from inside the Phantom app. That would be my first recommendation. My second recommendation would be to try it in a browser, in an incognito window or something like that, because sometimes it can be difficult to connect, especially if you're using the QR code or something to verify or scan. I have trouble with that all the time, Alex. I don't know if you do. When you got to scan it with your phone and you're not in the app, and then the app's got to open, and sometimes the message, these wallet apps are so new. And they're building these APIs on the fly all the time. The pieces of computer code that help them get a signature from the blockchain, put it to you in your display, send it to the website. You know what I mean? They're building this stuff on the fly. Rob says, on my laptop, mine is just like that. Well, shucks, Rob. You know what I would say is, unless Alex has a specific tip because he is more of a Phantom maxi than me, I'd say, Rob, jump in the community. Do you have any tips? Have you had any problems signing into DeFi Carrot with your Phantom?
No. And that's actually the wallet that I use all the time. It looks exactly like yours did. I hit connect. It prompted me to pop up. One thing that I've seen, I guess, sometimes, and I haven't seen this on the Carrot specifically, but every now and then, the auto detect for installed wallets will just grab the wrong one, and it will overlay the two pop-ups at the same time, and it will force me to try to connect MetaMask over everything else. And if I close that, I lose all of them. And every time I go to prompt it, even if you were to click Phantom, it will pop up the wrong wallet. I have seen that before. To be very honest, when that happens, often I'm like, you know what? You lost me as a user. Fix that shit. That's annoying.
Airdrops is the next question on Dex, Alex. So get ready. I just want to answer a quick one from Carol, who says, wait, this can be done through the browser in my Phantom wallet? Hello, Carol. It's great to see you. I hope you're having a good morning. And yes, just like we've done with your Coinbase wallet, where we've gone to the app on your iPad, on your iPhone, we've opened that little globe in the menu in the bottom. If you're using the old Coinbase wallet, you'll recognize this. It might look a little different in their new The Base app version. But that browser, it's in MetaMask has one, Trust Wallet has one, Phantom Wallet has one. They will have a little widget or button that will take you to the internet through that app. So you can visit you can visit Facebook there if you wanted to. And I find that tends to be the most frictionless way to connect to a lot of crypto websites is mobile first in the app. It just needs to be improved upon. Thank you for the question. How can I contact you, please, urgently? If you have an urgent request, then really don't DM us. Don't call Alex at his Tybee Island job. Don't write it on the back of a $20 bill and send it to my house. Although you could do that, it just wouldn't be very urgent. You know, the mail is slow. Jump into community.rumshq.com from wherever you are, wherever you listen. It's right in the bio. It's a great place. Not just us, all kinds of friendly people there. Alex, the question is really about taxes, but it's phrased as an airdrop question. And before I tell you this question, I actually have a request for Basecamp, Blockchain Basecamp, Alex's tax etc. app, which is, could you build a pig butchering simulator, or even have like a, if there's not one there, just to show people like, hey, this button is going to take you to what appears to be a passive investment scheme or whatever, and maybe overlaid could just be like, here are the signs. There's typos.
There's
are broken, whatever. Just so somebody could see it and be like, oh my gosh, I've seen a website like this.
Yeah, it's really hard to replicate just because they look so. There's so many different like ways that they can look, but as a concept, yeah, 100%. And I'm actually pulling all of the scam stuff out of the like helpful tips section, and it's getting its own page where you can like, you know, pick a name of a scam and kind of go through warning signs, how to know that, you know, this is being attempted, you know, blah 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 blah. But that's under construction. Yeah, I mean, you might be able to build a simulator for that, but I'd have to mess around with it. I don't know if it would like come out in a way that's actually helpful.
Yeah. Okay. So Alex, the question is, do airdrops count as taxable?
Yes.
Oh no.
Yeah, and actually, this is an interesting little piece of internal industry Web3 controversy, because some people are very upset when airdrops require a claim, saying that like that's not really an airdrop if I have to log in and claim something. However, if for whatever reason, and this would just be up to you, because I'll explain why that you shouldn't care about this so much in a second. Some people don't enjoy the idea of being forced to make a taxable event, because if someone sends you crypto, you owe income taxes on it, more than likely. Now, there are exceptions and there are ways around it, and it kind of depends on you and your accountant and how you report things and your ability to accurately describe what has happened. So there are exceptions for smaller amounts, like if you receive less than $600, usually you don't have to worry about that. There's also like gift exceptions, wherein someone can give you a gift, a monetary gift that is tax exempt. I forget all of the specifics around it, but that would be a great question for like a GPT or your accountant. Just, you know, where I know that it's a weird arbitrary number, like $17,000 or something in the US, that you can like a one-time gift of up to $17,000 like per like from one person to another person. You can use stuff like that. But anyway, I'm getting on a tangent. The short answer is yes, airdrops are taxable. If you receive an airdrop, you owe income taxes on it. The annoying thing about that is that you owe income taxes on the dollar equivalent of the airdrop at the moment you received it. And if the amount that airdrop is worth changes between the time you receive it and the time you sell it, if you sell it, you may also owe capital gains taxes on top of it, which is horseshit. And it pisses me off that this is still not being addressed through the legislative process with this crypto-friendly administration. If I get paid in ETH and I keep it in ETH and it goes up, I shouldn't have to pay taxes on that twice. That's horseshit. But I do. If it goes down before you sell it, you are allowed to write off that loss. However, again, the rules are much stricter on with regards to what you can declare as a loss versus what you have to pay taxes on. So remember, in the United States, again, you have to look this up individually. And I do actually have an app on Basecamp where you can look this up for your own country. If you would like to declare a loss against your taxable regular income from a crypto loss, you can only do that up to $3,000 a year. Beyond that, you can carry it over to the next year if you lost more than 3,000. And then as far as offsetting capital gains goes, capital losses offset at a ratio of 1-to-1. So if you lose $20,000 on one trade, but then you make $20,000 on the next trade, you don't owe any taxes on that. You are even. That's a lot. I've been working on for a while the desire to do like a regular tax kind of thing. I know there's lots of tax questions. I would like to do like an entire episode again soon with some accountants and get a full-fledged tax workshop. We've done tax workshops in the community before. It's probably about time that we do another one as we start to lead into winding down the year and people getting ready to get their affairs in order for the end of the fiscal year and the end of the tax year and all that good stuff. So if you have specific questions about taxes, first, don't panic. Second, write them down and send them in the join the community.rumshq.com and let me know what your tax questions are. Actually, the more data and the more comments you guys leave me about taxes too, the more compelling of a case I can make to the people who say that there's not really any value to be gained in right now sponsoring or working with creators like us, because no one cares about taxes and taxes are boring and no one wants to know about taxes. And we don't think that we could get any users for our great killer tax platform if we advertised on TikTok.
Comments say, yes, tax workshop, please. I agree, Alex. Lots of, these taxes are so messed up.
So messed up.
About how much. Yeah. If you want to ask those follow-up questions, leave those comments, then what you need to do, like Alex said, is jump over to community.rumshq.com. The only thing missing is you. The second thing missing is more legal and tax content.
This is a gross misrepresentation of the facts.
If you're there, here's what I want you to do. I just want to show you how easy this is, okay? It's a website, community.rumshq.com, that's got just a simple list of channels. It looks like a Discord server or a Facebook group. And check this out. In one of the channels called the Dev Hub, Alex has just posted his Blockchain Basecamp super app.
I'm about to do it again because I added a bunch more stuff and it needs to be redeployed. That one's pretty current.
Episodes, but it's awesome. It's absolutely awesome. And we've got so much more cool stuff in the community. We really do. I often say, because it's true, the only thing missing is you and legal content and tax content and clarification about taxes on airdrops. But you get the point. You get the point, my friends.
Yeah, hold on. I'm just screenshotting all these comments about tax workshops.
Take your time, Alex. I'll give one last preview, which is an exciting preview to say that finally, after much back and forth, our friends at POAP are coming to Rise Up After Dark. If you don't know POAP and you want to learn crypto, what are you doing? POAP.xyz. POAP stands for Proof of Attendance Protocol, and it's a type of free to receive non-fungible token, or NFT, that proves you did a thing. The way a word is attached to an idea like Christmas or money or hot dog, a POAP is the token attachment of your proof of attendance at my yoga class, or Alex's dog rescue, or joining the show tonight. We've got Isabel, their co-founder, on to talk about how POAPs, the bookmarks of your life, can help you build better connections to people on chain. You don't even need to know their name, and you've got an on-chain connection to somebody. How cool is that? That's the future. It's not going to be email, although we'll probably be texting each other for a while. I think on-chain messaging, connections, and meaningful relationships, that's the way to go. So 7 p.m. Central Time tonight, Alex is going to be celebrating all the birthdays. dogging and ponying. And me and Will be hanging with Isabel, so I hope to see you there. Alex, you got all your screenshots, man?
I got a lot. Yeah, I think I can make my point.
Shout out to the friends for coming through with help. The cavalry.
I am a big fan of this.
Yeah, you guys really are a lot more help than you might realize. But this is just one of the. Can Alex call Alex unveiling his 17 cents?
Oh, the 17 cents. I am so sad you're going to miss it, but I will try and represent that idea to Isabel because I think she would get a kick out of it. And maybe she knows somebody who's done something like that before.
Yeah.
A consortium.
Although I'm really sorry about all the taxes that all you guys are going to have to pay on your 17-cent airdrops.
Oh my gosh.
Hey, man.
Oh, that was my cherry on top of the whole thing was taxes are a little bit scary and they're often like, blown out of proportion and misrepresented and all this kind of stuff. I see all the time. I saw a comment about being afraid to take profits because they're unsure about taxes and stuff. Take it from me because I've messed this up personally. It is better every time to declare and pay taxes on a win than just keep writing off losses because you hold things for too long because you're nervous about the taxes. It's much more worth it to kind of get a basic understanding. It seems convoluted when you realize that really we're just getting shafted with crypto and taxes together. Like all of a sudden it just becomes easy to understand, and then it just pisses you off, and then you turn into a cantankerous grump like me, who just harumphs about it all the time. But maybe eventually one day it'll be fixed. We'll see.
I'm sorry. Did you say a cantankerous grump who
Yes.
harumphs? I think that deserves a whump.
I think that deserves a ding.
It deserves a ding, but like you
That's
you
the
harump
inverse gwump.
and grumped, so you need to gwump. No one ever went broke taking profits, did they? Even if they had to pay their taxes.
No, like it's better to pay taxes on a win than it is to just keep writing off losses. I promise.
Alex, I'd like to invite you to double check the comments and see if there's a question, because I have a side quest I need to embark on.
Yeah,
If
I do
you've got
have
a
one. Yes.
Great place for it. Web3 101 Wednesday. We want to hear from you. Take it away, Alex.
Okay, I have two. One, I'll go back to some thoughts about the most recent market crash that we saw, because there was a couple questions about that. But to wrap up this whole tax thing, someone asked, how is it that they could track or come after you for taxes if you're using a decentralized exchange? Great question. There's several different answers, and there's some nuance to this. Right now, in this present moment, the government is shut down. The IRS has been a target of this current administration basically since the beginning, and they are very understaffed. So honestly, the odds that someone is like tracking everyone's decentralized exchange antics and whatnot and activity and coming after you for taxes there, it's pretty unlikely. The IRS is like pretty far behind on audits and just figuring out where everything is and what's going on. People keep getting fired and whatever. It's a problem. Might seem great until you actually need the IRS for something and there's nobody there to help you. So, 6 and 1/2 dozen of another. However, as to how it's possible, typically it's unlikely that someone is exclusively decentralized, wherein everything they do happens through decentralized means. At some point, an on-ramp took place, and at that on-ramp, it's very likely that it was a KYC on-ramp. Again,
Alex,
it's
what is an
possible.
on-ramp and what is KYC for people who don't know that?
An on-ramp is a catch-all term for any way to turn fiat dollars into crypto dollars of any variety.
Did you just define that with another jargon term?
You know what? At some point, you're going to have to learn some jargon. I'm
I
sorry.
will absolutely die on this hill.
Okay.
It's a way to turn. I hate saying it like the way that isn't jargony, because I think that's stupid. Like, what would you say? It's a way to turn regular money into
Government
personal
dollars.
internet money.
I say government dollars.
Yeah, but that sounds weird.
Everybody should be more like me, Alex. Sorry, I just wanted to.
I know.
Continue.
You're right. Always. So what would I need the IRS for? If there's a problem with your refund, or if they take too much money from you, or if you are, the victim of fraud or something. There's all kinds of reasons. I've had to get a hold of the IRS before because they withheld my refund because they claimed that I didn't send them the proper documentation to write something off properly, and they kept a lot more of my money than they should have. I hate to break it to you, but they do actually serve a purpose. And if you completely remove them, a lot of people will suffer. We may be mad about taxes, but that's not an IRS thing. They're just doing their job. That's whoever gives them their job. Anyway, that's a tangent for another day. Am I still stalling?
If you wish to, I do.
Okay.
I am glad to join you again in the conversation. What I'm back.
You're back. Okay. To wrap it up, effectively, what's happening is because everything on chain is a record. Remember that everything that happens on a blockchain is stored and can be recalled and can be queried and looked up and confirmed and verified later at any point. So if at any time you transferred money from something that does have your identity attached to it, all of those wallets can be tracked and traced. So even if I'm like doing things in my Phantom wallet, because I originally bought those dollars on Coinbase or Kraken or Binance or something like that, where I had to KYC, which means know your customer, which is just the identification process that you probably had to go through when you made your exchange account, where you gave them a driver's license or a bank account or something like that to confirm that you are who you say you are, which all exchanges are legally required to comply with.
And apparently your fingerprint too.
And apparently your fingerprint too. Your shoe size, your mother's maiden name, and your first pet's name, and your home street address in 3rd grade, and blah, 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 blah. Then all of those wallets that have ever been associated with it are connected and can be tracked and traced. Like I said, it's unlikely, increasingly so at this point, because it's a lot of work. And frankly, the government is just not set up to be on-chain sleuthing everybody through all of their wallets to track where money came from and where it went. So to be very honest, and this is not an endorsement of tax evasion, I think most people just probably don't even do it. You should keep track of it, because if you ever do get randomly picked out of a hat for an audit and you don't have any of that, you're just gonna get hosed. And the point that I was made aware of a long time ago by, I don't remember who it was. Oh, it was it Lorenzo? It might have been Lorenzo, one of the Faceless Labs original accountants. Basically just that. Oh no, you know who it was? It was Michael. It was Tatted Lawyer.
Oh,
Michael Christine.
We have a lot of lawyers. What are we doing? We need to make legal and accounting content, Alex.
Well, Michael is an ex-SEC attorney, and his point was that it's true that it's very hard to hold everybody accountable for their tax obligations as a DeFi user. However, all it takes is like one rogue or one IRS agent looking to, make a name for themselves or get a win, or an SEC attorney to need a win or something like that, and randomly pick a user and chase it down and do the thing, and that just happens to be you, and you've been found to be evading taxes through DeFi. Sad day. So, I can't endorse that you all commit tax evasion, but I can tell you that the people keeping an eye on it are stretched a little thin.
So you're telling me there's a chance?
There's always a chance. There's always a chance.
Alex, thank you very much for the
stall.
I really appreciate
the lengthy ramble.
It was fantastic. I know I can always count on you to go off about a grievance. So
I may not be good for much, but what I am good for is a long-winded yap.
Oh no, you're good for a lot. And apparently something else you're good for that I just have to share with our audience is at least 17 cents. And me and GPT cooked this up.
Oh my God. Okay, wait a second. That's incredible.
For the people in podcast land, we're looking at a side profile of Alex on what appears to be a bronze penny that declares itself to be worth 17 cents.
How good is that?
It says Alex twice. 2022 is the year it was issued. I like that. And I will absolutely die on this hill. And it's got a little POAP on it. So
wait,
maybe we can workshop it. But
send this to the mint. I need this in an actual commemorative coin.
Oh my gosh, isn't that perfect?
Dude, that's incredible. Send me that. I need that.
I already posted it in the community because I figured the people who were paying attention there could get a little laugh 3 seconds earlier than everybody else. Magic says, love it.
Don't worry. We will absolutely make that an NFT and everybody can have one.
100%. 100%.
We'll run the Christmas 17-cent airdrop to all of the POAP holders of that NFT. Then we'll do a tax workshop on how you can all declare your 17-cent income from my airdrop.
I also really want to launch like a token that maybe is maybe has a faucet. Maybe you can work on this with Replit when you're done with Basecamp. I really want to do
When I'm done
Will's.
with Basecamp.
Yeah, as if till he dies, ladies and gentlemen. As if I want to do Will's funny money and like just different Monopoly monies with Will on them that we can just like give to people. Like this one's 500, this one's 50,
Yeah,
this one's blue and has a dolphin on it.
Schmotzen dollars or something.
Schmilbucks, yeah, something like that.
You thought Shrootbucks were bad. Wait till you see this shit.
Oh my gosh, I would absolutely love it. Yeah, if you want the Alex POAP, just hold your horses because it's it's minting now.
That's one of my favorite AI generated pieces of artwork you've ever made.
Yeah, me too. It's getting good.
Oh, it's so
I
good.
also love this comment from Exit Velo who says, "How about a $2 USDC bill to Rise Up Cash?"
Correct.
I think Alex needs to be on that one too. I'm picturing like you with like a big flag that says USDC on it. Oh my gosh. If you're sharing this with somebody you love, and you are, or excuse me, if somebody you love, you trust has shared this show with you, and now you find yourself thinking, "The hell is this?" My apologies, but we want to hear from you too. We've got a couple more minutes of Web3 101 Wednesday before we ride our dogs and ponies into the sunset, and we want to hear your questions. There's no question too stupid, too simple. It's called Rise Up for a reason, because we're here to help you feel like you're learning something. You're elevating yourself through this dialogue and maybe having a good time in the process, because I know I am. I'm having way too much fun.
To be clear, don't ever feel bad about having a question or being confused about this stuff, because none of it existed like 10 years ago, and we're kind of just all like collectively making it up as we go along building this industry. And every time something new happens, you just make up a new word to describe what it is. So if you weren't confused, I'd say there's something wrong.
I would agree. I'm looking here for an article that I found earlier. I want to shout out our friend Jessica, who forwarded me a great newsletter. And I want to actually put out a call for all of our longtime friends. One of the best things about getting to manage a community of people is I get to watch people grow, and then I get to learn from them, people who came to me to learn. Alex and I have had this experience for a long time. And so I want to invite people like Jessica. Hey, Jessica, always good to see you. Like Carol, Tori, I know is here. A lot of our friends have been here a while. Magic's here. And if you've got a great resource, don't ever hesitate to share it in the community. I think we need to figure out a way to compile these things a little better. Circle will help us. And shout out to Tori, who, again, congratulations, is the #1 actually real employee at Rise Up. Maybe Tori will have some ideas around that and can help us with it. But I want to encourage you, if you ever see somebody new in our comments, in our chat, it is never going to be a nuisance, and it is always our first priority to reach out to those people, but we miss those comments. So if you have something that could help them, talking to you, don't ever hesitate to share. If you see somebody leave a comment, they're getting scammed. If you see somebody leave a comment, they have a question and they say, "This is a stupid question." I love when people come in our community and they say, "Hi, I'm new here. Saw Alex on a video. Don't know what this is." And like 10 people just dogpile them in the internet equivalent of like a warm hug or like a "Can I take your coat?" and say, "Welcome." So keep that up, please. Jessica says, "I'm still trying to find the tax tab in Circle. I found it once, but can't get back to it." Jessica, it's in the Dev Hub. I think you mean the tax app. And I will say, I do know this. Alex has posted it somewhere in the free community. The community is totally free to join. You can use it. There are a couple of channels that are locked to premium members. The good news is anyone can become a premium member. You don't have to have a special POAP. You don't have to have 17 cents. It is a free to try for 10 days experience. And you, yes, you can then become a member to get discounts to all the stuff we do charge money for. Like if you want to sit down one-on-one with me and go through the process of setting up a wallet, I am glad to do it. And in fact, the premium members have lots of spaces that we make just for them to run into us like that. Alex, we had a question last week, which was, Alex has been in his new house for a week or two. When is he starting office hours?
That's a great
Can we
question.
expect one soon? It's a great question. Alex is going to have them soon. Will and I have them there. It's basically like free group coaching. It's like the Rise Up Morning Show, except you're on stage with us. It's private, and you can ask questions or just hang out. So definitely check it out. The Dev Hub is where Alex keeps posting updates of Basecamp. But I know when it's like ready to live in the world, he's going to put it out in public too. I think we were talking about it the other day. I said, dude, you're going to need to sell this thing. But the premium members, like, don't worry, we got you. You know,
it'll be included.
You're getting the cheese.
Yeah, I mean, there's definitely a free version, but like some of this stuff is, I think, deserves to be at least. I mean, I never had this intention when I started it, but like
the reason you need to have people pay for it, Alex, is because one, I'm gonna continue losing time to the tax app with you. Like Christina and I and everybody else in your life that loves you deserve to be compensated for the time we're losing to you, your tax app. And you're going to be working on it forever. I already know I'm going to be 70 years old and I'm going to get a call from Alex who's like, guess what I added today? You're like, shut up and take your Metamucil.
You know what? Maybe. But dude,
I would look forward to that.
Look at this.
Oh, no. What do you got?
I gotta show you.
You got to show me. Okay.
You brought it up. You did this.
I brought it up. I asked for it. I really did.
Okay.
Walked myself right into that one. Here I come.
Check this out.
Okay.
So, all right. Now, if you look at Basecamp, underneath the practice tab, which is right up here in the middle, here are all the simulators.
Wow. That's like 8 simulators, dude.
Here's the leverage trading one. So you can now select the user interface that you want to see between 2 different choices.
Way!
So you can kind of pick one that's a little bit more like, console-like, like Hyperliquid. It still needs some work. It's not quite Hyperliquid. And then one that's a little more like, kind of tile-based like Jupyter. So anyway, then you would pop in here and you'd be able to select between long and short. So the whole purpose here is that leverage trading is confusing, and I don't really like. I've never leverage traded, and I'm not like confident enough to go start doing it. So I built a fake leverage trader where you can just like open leverage positions with different liquidation points and different amounts of leverage and different position sizes, and it'll tell you like where your liquidation price is. And you can also hover over these little tooltips and it'll tell you like what this stuff means and whatever. And then you could like open a short and then there you go. It still needs some work because there's no close option, so you can't like sell it at a profit or anything like that. But then it opens up your position down here. And if you opened a long, the same thing, then there you go. Now you're short and long at the same time. So
Dude,
that's cool.
Why don't we have this? This is giving me an idea. Why don't we have an app that is a video game that is essentially this, where like you see this 8-bit like boo, 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 like Zelda theme, Mega Man theme kind of character in a business suit in a skyscraper, and it's like perp tycoon or something, and it's like the only interface is like, it's a new day. Do you want to go long or short? And then how much like money and how much leverage do you want to apply? And everybody starts off with $10,000 or something. And there's, like a 1-paragraph story, like it's another day in Perp Tycoon's tower. And then you make your choices, then the sun sets and you find out the next day if you made money, lost money, or got liquidated. And it could, teach you about like, the market crashed and everybody got automatically liquidated.
Yep.
Do you want to start over or whatever? And just then at the end, you post your high score.
Yeah.
I think that would be a really,
I dig it.
And the real unlock would be actually making it a trading interface.
It would be cool.
I think a lot of people would listen.
Speaking of trading interfaces, you got a little ahead of yourself by yeah, this one also needs a little bit of work because I don't like the way that it just broke. Anyway,
child, I love that function.
There's let's try this thing. Okay, here we go. It worked this time. I built a technical analysis simulator, and I'll need like Will and Doug to help me kind of put some more specific pieces in this, but it has like where you can select the most common like chart patterns that people talk about. Cup and handle, head and shoulders, bear flag, double top, etc. So you could pick one, and then it will describe to you like what the success rate of this pattern executing usually is, and then sort of briefly like what what it refers to. And then shout out to TradingView's free API here for this little tidbit, but you can pick the speed and then you can play it and it will create candles in like as they progress to show you what it looks like when this pattern sets up, and then like more statistically like where it goes afterwards. But it kind of draws out the pattern on a fake chart.
Danny says that's so rad, Alex.
You can add all these indicators too, so you could like have it throw a fake RSI down here with kind of like typically how the RSI would work, or you can put Bollinger Bands onto it as well, or you can toss on exponential moving averages and all that good stuff.
Dang, man.
Pretty sweet.
It's very sweet.
Danny, in answer to your earlier question, where does the money go when someone gets liquidated? Evan?
Oh, I thought the way you set it up, I wasn't expecting. The money actually goes to the other traders. So if you are long, that means, well, most of it does. It goes to traders, it goes to market makers, and it goes to the people who operate the exchanges.
Okay. Yeah.
So what happens is, if I am going along on a trade, that means I'm expecting the price to go up. And if I'm borrowing somebody's money to do that, then I am borrowing money from usually any number of counterparties, but it's longs versus shorts. I am competing against somebody who is betting the market will go down. Essentially, mostly, my dollars, if I get liquidated, go to a person who's betting on the other side or a market maker who is betting on the other side. One of the reasons that Friday's activity was so devastating is because though people made money on other sides of the trades that got liquidated as the market went down, a lot of them also got auto-deleveraged, which means like automatically different exchanges will close your positions to keep themselves, their other traders, and you from losing money too quickly. And the exchanges, they make a sort of a fee on your bet. The longer it's open, they get paid for that. And they also, when you get liquidated, many times require you to pay a fee. There are different ways that exchanges make their money, but you're essentially paying someone on the other side of a bet. And I have a lot of content I want to make in the wake of Friday about just all the different things that people don't understand that could use like probably a 5 to 10 minute explainer. Auto-deleveraging is something that came up for the first time for me. It was new to me. I had not learned it. The thing about like crises like this, and I don't know if you see this, Alex, but it seems apparent to me. There's a lot of stuff in the crypto space that is kind of theoretical. We try to test for a lot of stuff, these protocols do before they launch, but they test for like transactions per second. But then what happens if like one validator goes rogue, or one particular exchange has a bug that causes it to stop reporting, or, a dump truck full of cheese tips over on the highway? You know what I mean? Like all these weird confounding things. And a lot of the time, because so much of the cryptography, the blockchain stuff is theoretical, this has never happened before. And then we're all kind of finding out together, this is what that looks like. This is what we need to do. Your exchange did it differently than my exchange. You got your paint in my hairbrush, whatever. It's very new. You are so early.
Yeah.
Coming back.
Another really good question on TikTok here. Did stop losses work if there were no buyers? So, good question. Obnoxiously, this is yet another instance where the answer is, it depends.
Yeah.
Because sometimes exchanges don't always need a buyer on the other side of a sale in order to execute it.
No, they use market makers, people whose job it is to put up the money for it, buying and selling. Sorry, go ahead.
Market makers get used. The exchanges themselves will facilitate purchases and sales of stuff. That's usually where they bake in a spread. They make money trading back and forth. That's why there are trading fees. That's all this kind of stuff. And so they can afford, the big ones especially, can afford to run those buys and those sells on behalf of you through their own money just to make your trade happen. You'll also see sometimes where exchanges just stop working during moments of increased volatility. And often I don't believe that is just because, it's because, shit, this is going to be painful. Quick, turn it off. And then off you go. And currently Binance, did you see Binance posted on Twitter yesterday that they're going to sue? They're going to sue this guy who talked about he made some allegations against like the way that they handled everything during this thing and something about their listing fees and all their process. Basically, was talking a lot of shit. And the comments were excoriating. Everyone, some of the bigger like TikTok or Twitter people were like, "Oh yeah, go for it, sue them so that they can file discovery and we get to see all this other crap." Or, "Are you sure you want a bunch of lawyers to see your listing agreement?" And because they claim that they don't charge people for listings, when it's like, I feel like we've seen that all over the place. That there's like all kinds of confirmation that a board Elon posted on, like, "I've seen the agreement, like you absolutely charge people for listings."
Yeah.
Anyway, so there's all kinds of shady shit that goes on with these big exchanges. They're businesses at the end of the day.
One of the things that sometimes happens, everything is about liquidity. That's the word.
Yeah.
I want you to think of a well, and everybody's got a cup. Some people have a pan. Some people have a big 55-gallon drum that they are dipping into this well, and the well has a finite amount of water. And the job of exchanges is to entice people who have a lot of water to come and dump it in their well. Only in this case, we're talking about money, and not just any kind of money, but different kinds of tokens, so that if somebody wants to swap ETH for BNB, they can do it, or SOL for whatever, they can do it. That's the whole business of exchanges, is creating these oases, pockets of liquidity for different kinds of assets, water in the desert. And if there's not enough of that, when the price goes down so aggressively, you might imagine that those people whose job it is to provide the water on behalf of the exchanges, everybody's coming and dipping their cup in and dipping their cup in and dipping their cup in, and that pool gets really shallow. So when it gets down to your stop loss or your limit order buy price, it doesn't trigger because there's no one on the other side of the order to take it. Mm-hmm. It's out of liquidity. And that's one of the things that amplified this crisis, was even the market makers who are used to handling a lot of volume at one time and very good at it were like, damn, everybody's thirsty today. This was a lot. It's tough.
Yep.
It was tough.
Yeah.
It worked very well, but it was just big. And
I was a decent example of that. I had buy orders kind of going down, limit buy orders set as the price went down, that technically we wicked past and then came back up and past. But because that wick was largely manipulated, and like Evan said, liquidity got smoked in the top half of it. And like once you got down to the bottom, there really wasn't any to facilitate purchases. Nobody was selling. There wasn't a supply readily available to buy from. So those buys never actually triggered. Like as Solana went down technically to like 137 on paper briefly, even though I had a buy at 150, that didn't trigger because there was no trading happening at that point. There was no money to facilitate me actually buying anything down there. But the one that I had at 175 did. So
I'm about ready to do some final thoughts, I think, Alex, because I see Christina says, time to
party.
Happy birthday, Christina. I'm starting you out with 10 points on After Dark tonight, and Exit Velo has been giving me points. I just want to say, Exit Velo, thank you very much. They said, need that ADL vid. You should have a higher score. And I think that is correct. So, Alex, have you got any final thoughts? Any good jokes, words of wisdom, predictions, or grievances to air before we ride our dogs and ponies into the sunset?
I've aired quite a few grievances. I think I'm appropriately grieved.
Yeah, I would say so. It stinks in here. I'm grieving about it.
I think just if I put a cherry on top, it would be that there was a lot of really good questions today.
Yeah,
I recommend that everybody jump into the free to join community.rumshq.com. If you didn't get a question answered, feel free to toss it in there. And I mean, we'll see you. Well, I won't. we'll see you guys tonight though for a sweet after dark. And dude, I just once again, that is the best. That POAP, the 17-cent POAP, dude, that is so killer. I'm obsessed.
Can you believe it? We've got it there in the community. That's the link on the screen. In podcast land, you can get it from our bio. You got to check it out and let us know what you think. And maybe we can get some whale money too. So thanks, Alex. And thank you, yes, you, for being the very best part of what we do. Until next time, everybody stay safe, be well, my friends, rise up.